We're back.
We are. We took a week off, and I don't know if you watch this on youtube.com/ at the walk car, you will see I like look over to the side. I set something going when we start recording, and taking a week off, I've already like forgotten how to push the button to my left. It's a simple thing. It's like it's a mouse move and a button, and I already messed it up. Oh well. So, all right. I won't start on my story yet. I'll just say who I am. I'm Phil Royle. I am one of the podcast co-hosts here. Um, I don't really know. Been doing it for a while. I got a microphone. It makes me a professional. So, so listen to me. Uh, I don't know. I've lost track of everything. Take a week
Is it
off and
me?
it's all gone downhill.
At Sanchez, I also have headsets and a microphone, so therefore a professional podcaster, I guess. Anyway, for four
Long
plus years,
years.
yeah, a while, and did other stuff with cars before that for a
Mhm.
while. And here we are.
Still doing stuff with cars. I explained to somebody, I was on a trip last week and I explained to somebody part of my background. And it dates back to like Fast and the Furious times and being the height of all of that in the import world and doing all the car shows. And this person I was talking to was like I don't know what generation, millennial, I guess. I don't know. And he looks on that era as like, oh, I wish I were involved in motorsports of that and not motors. I'm involved in motorsports.
The
I
car
wish I
scene.
were
Yeah.
involved in the car import scene and everything, the car
Mhm.
scene back then. And I was like, dude, I was there. Like I lived the whole thing. I
Was
was
he
getting
talking about Mark IV Supras and everything? And
yeah, no, just the height of all the cool cars from the 90s and early 2000s, the import scene, the parties, the kind of that being brought up through Fast and the Furious, the height of
Mhm.
sport compact car and Super Street. And when I told him like that I had stuff in Super Street, he was like, "Oh my God!" Like I explained Project Car, all the stuff, and he was just like blown away. I'm that cool.
You are that cool.
So anyway, I was in the middle of the country. I was in Nebraska. And
The white
more
hot epicenter of EVs, right?
I saw more Rivian EV Amazon vans there, whatever they're called, than
Uh-huh.
I have living in Southern California.
Really? That's
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah. They were like buzzing all over the place on the freeway, everything. I don't know if there was like if it's a hub. Like I know nothing. I've done no research. Of course. It's a theme of me in this podcast.
What's I don't know if you noticed around there. What were the fuel prices around there? I'm assuming much cheaper than
Sub
California.
$3
Okay,
general I think. Yeah. High twos though. I think some might have gotten into the threes.
so I was gonna if it was a high fuel price area, I could see why they'd want to electrify. But if it's like cheap gas, then
What blew me away was I think I saw a price a gallon of gas at like 3.29, something like that. And I only pay a
that
dollar
seems high
more.
for Nebraska.
Doesn't it? It's like California's gas prices have
Yeah.
always been extortionate. And right now I'm paying about 4.30 a gallon for
Hmm.
yeah, 4.29 just around the corner from me. It was only a dollar less expensive in Nebraska. California's fuel prices seem to have stayed fairly steady. I
Hmm.
mean, we go back to Russia invading Ukraine and we peaked at like $7 a gallon. Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now we reset to that and the rest of the country seems to be like inching to our fuel prices.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we have the states that don't traditionally like EVs, if they start coming around based on their fuel prices climbing. In California, we've always been in fuel price hell. So like we already know the
Yeah.
pain that exists from filling up our
Yeah.
cars.
Five plus bucks a gallon around me is that's like every day.
Yeah, I it shocked me. But it also shocked me that I was seeing EV vans,
Yeah.
delivery vans, and yet I don't see them here. Bright drops all the time in my neighborhood, but I don't see any of
Yeah,
those EV vans.
I see a lot of Rivian. Is it called the EDV now or whatever it's called?
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I saw. They're cute. I like them.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next order of business that was not on our list, but I kind of wanted to talk about it.
Yes. Your favorite guy.
My favorite guy in the world, Elon Musk. And I'm not going to spend much time on this because everybody who listens to this podcast knows my opinion of him. And if you don't, go back and listen to any episode before now where Elon Musk is brought up and you will see what I think of him, which is generally, in a nutshell, he did great for the company. He did great for EVs. Then he went nuts. And he has gone from an asset to a liability.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that's my thought. So the board has voted, the Elon Musk fanboy board, otherwise known as Tesla board, has voted to give him a $1 trillion payday if he meets certain goals. And one of them is one that he won't be able to hit, which is staying out of politics. But there's other ones that I like. He's got to, there'll be a link in the show notes. There's certain things he's got to hit, like a market cap of 25 trillion for the company, and robots everywhere need to be our overlord and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My question to you though is, if they're going to pay him, like 54 billion seemed like a lot, and that the kibosh got put on that through the Delaware courts. And I don't think that ever really got resolved. Maybe it did, but he didn't get the money. Then they voted on another package that was like $25 billion. And then he got that when they moved to Texas from Delaware, blah, 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 blah. All right. So is this the best use of money for the company? To pay one person $1 trillion? Or would it be better to hand him, I don't want him to work for free, but would it be better to hand him $1 billion or 10 and take the rest of the money and invest it in what the company should be doing in the future? And also all of these master plans, which he's apparently writing a new one, I think.
Part 4. Yeah.
But why not invest the money in what your master plan is? The greener world, the better place that we were promised. Why pay one individual more money than he could literally ever spend versus invest in what the company claims it believes in?
Yeah. I'm not going to try to argue in favor of this, if other than to say, you've probably heard the term a rising tide lifts all boats or all ships.
Mm-hmm.
So going by that logic, and anyway, for what it's worth, if indeed Tesla and Musk can meet all of these goals, there'll be plenty to go around. So
will there?
Well, I mean,
to the workers on the line.
Well, I mean, well, no. Let me put it this way:
I bet they won't get $1 trillion raise.
No, but they will probably get some sort of stock option or performance bonus, presumably. Maybe. I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but
I'm giving disbelieving looks here. If you youtube.com/@thewalkcar and you'll see them.
But if that were to be the case and they were to meet that, they would profit too. So now I've heard various accounts about working at Tesla. I guess depending on who you are and what level you are, it's either a great or a horrible place to work, but be that as it may. To me, some of these goals, at least from my current standpoint, seem so lofty and so pie in the sky. I'm almost of the belief they're never going to happen. So I think this is more hypothetical than real. I mean, could they? Yes. Will they? Color me skeptical. So, I know this grabs headlines and, everyone's like, all outraged about it. I think it's a long shot that he gets this just because I think the goals are so lofty. But
so targets include company hitting a market value of 8.6 trillion in 10 years, which,
I mean, who knows? Maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
Who would have
I
thought?
don't think that's impossible. I don't
I
think.
mean, look, if you look at Nvidia, and I know it's a completely different company in terms of what they do, but from where they were 10 years ago to today, I mean, who would have who would have thunk? I mean, some people did, but they flirted with bankruptcy a couple times too. I mean, much like Tesla.
Yeah.
So who knows?
No, I just think the money could be better allocated elsewhere instead of an individual.
But well, we got some items we're going to talk about Tesla, not completely altruistic, but some positive developments with some things they're doing. But anyway,
Do you want to
we'll get
jump
to
to
that.
that, or do you want? Was that a tease? You got to
That's a
listen.
tease.
You got to listen.
That's a
All
tease.
right.
You got to stay tuned in.
So instead of talking about Tesla, let's swap over to BMW.
Okay.
And they have unveiled apparently the iX3. Now I missed all of this because I was in the middle of America,
Well, this happened in Munich, evidently.
which is apparently not Nebraska. So I didn't. I was unaware of this. But I did click on the picture. There'll be a link in the show notes for everything we talk about. And the iX3.
Thoughts on the styling, first of all?
All right. I'll say something controversial. The kidney grill on the new 3 Series, I say new, quote unquote. It's
The
been
beaver
out for.
teeth?
Yeah, the beaver teeth. I like those. I think those are aggressive and different. They're different enough, but they still retain. You still know what you're looking at. They're aggressive. Unlike the M3 and M4, like they look really good when it's lowered and like really good. On the base ones, maybe not so much, but I think those are pretty cool. This one has a kidney grill. I can't get behind this one. It's even like inverted, it looks like, to give it like, it's like a concave. I don't, maybe that's just the appearance in the pictures. The car itself looks fine.
Yeah.
The nose,
Not a fan. I'm taking it.
no. The rear the rear reminds me of a VinFast for some reason, and I don't know why. I think that's just like everything like remember like the mid 2000s, like
yeah.
everything just kind of started looking the same. They had certain, I don't know about the rear vehicles, but at the front of vehicles in the early 2000s, everything suddenly went and looked identical in the sedan world.
Yeah.
And that was because there was like pedestrian impact laws that came in at least Europe, maybe into America. And it suddenly dictated that you can't kneecap people and you needed them to like bounce off the car. And so the cars had to look in one specific way. And that was why everything like 2005 or 8 or whatever it was suddenly went froop, and they had this funny curved front and they all looked the same. I don't know if that's what's happening in the rear. There's some like maybe some aerodynamics that somebody discovered and to hit all of the requirements that you need for efficiency or mile per gallon on gas vehicles, whatever. I don't know, but this definitely, the back's
It
of
looks like a
VinFast.
crossover.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's nothing really spectacular.
I don't feel as strongly about the grill. I kind of like that somewhat of a return to normalcy from the ever expanding twin kidneys that look like kidney disease or something. I don't know.
You like that it got smaller?
I like it. I like that they're smaller. To me, it looks less distinctively BMW. I mean, looking at this, I'm kind of like, I mean, knowing what I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, I know what it is, but I'm wondering if like non-car people would look at this and, to your point, mistake it for a VinFast or a Lexus or whatever.
Yeah. I don't think non-car people are going to mistake anything for a VinFast because I don't think non-car people know what a VinFast is. But they might not
but they'll
immediately recognize this.
But they might think of VinFast as something else because
yeah,
it's what's the term I've used before? It's inoffensive, but there's another word I use with it, like generically inoffensive. I don't know.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Inoffensively handsome.
Yes.
That's the term I've used. So I consider the VinFast inoffensively handsome in that it's nice looking, it's smooth, kind of generic. People won't say, "Oh, that's an ugly car," but neither will they say, "Wow, that's a gorgeous car." They're
Yeah,
like,
I
"Oh,
got to rush out and get one.
yeah." They're
Like,
like, "Oh, that's nice, I guess."
yeah, as it passes by, and
Yeah.
they don't even like the first VinFast I ever saw on the street. At a traffic light, and one drives by, and I'm like, first car in line,
Mhm.
and I'm like, whoa, grabbing up my phone, and my wife's like, what? Like, didn't even
Yeah,
bat an
because it's
eye.
like
A
it's a
car that she
car.
has never seen before just
Yeah,
drove by, and it did not get her attention at
register.
all.
Yeah,
And it's not like, I mean, she's not really a car person, but she worked in the automotive industry for many years. So, like, she's not
yes, at
oblivious
least
to
a
these
general
things.
awareness. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. There's some
yeah,
level of enthusiasm there and knowledge,
yeah.
and didn't
Other,
even didn't even
yeah.
register.
So other than the styling, which that's it's out there if you want to take a look at it. Links in the show notes. I guess the big thing, at least to some people, is the value proposition with this. So even though I wouldn't call it cheap per se, but BMWs, I wouldn't say for the last 20 years, you could say are cheap, if ever. Um, so they're going to debut it in the 50X Drive trim, which is a step up from base. Um, for the US market, they say it's going to start around 60,000, which I don't know. I think for the specs I'm seeing looks okay. Um,
Well, that's 60,000 for the base, isn't it? Which you just said they're not going to release initially.
no. 60,000 for the 50X Drive, which is a
Oh,
step
okay.
above the base model.
All right.
The base, they haven't announced which they're calling the 40, is not out yet.
Yeah.
So we don't know the price for that. But for that amount, 463 horse, 476 pound-feet, 0 to 62, which seems like an oddball figure to Americans, but that rounds to 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, under 4.9. But again, nothing special in the world of EVs. That's like,
Hmm.
I'd say like 80% of the new EVs out there. 130 top speed, 109 kilowatt hour usable capacity, 500-mile WLTP range, which, you know, who knows that's going to translate to an EPA.
Even if that was
Probably,
350, it'd be good.
I'd say 350 to approaching 400
Yeah.
would be my guess. 400 kilowatt DC fast charging. They claim you can add 230 plus miles of range in around 10 minutes.
Fantastic.
Pretty fast charging.
Yeah.
And like I said, the lower trim model will be coming after. We don't have pricing on that. So anyway,
Where do you think you can charge at 400 kilowatts?
I don't think anywhere right now. Um,
Like, I mean, that number sounds fantastic, but I'm like,
I
maybe
there
I'm missing something.
no, I think there are some the fastest public chargers I've seen are 350.
Yeah, that's kind
And
of the de
that's I think
facto.
Electrify America.
Yeah, that's been the standard for the last few years, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
350, you're not getting any more than that.
Yeah. So
So,
this is kind of a hypothetical capability.
mhm.
I mean,
So they might as well say charges
yeah. I mean,
462
maybe
miles at
maybe in
800
Europe,
kilowatts.
yeah,
Like it,
maybe in Europe they already have 400 plus,
yeah.
kilowatt, but effectively in the US it's basically 350 is the, you know, real world cap. But anyway,
I like all these numbers.
yeah.
All
Yeah, it
of
looks
these
good.
numbers make me overlook, because I've not looked at any of this or the price or anything. Makes me overlook the nose. I like
Yeah.
this. It makes
Yeah.
me happy. It's
Cool.
it's a sign that we're going in the right direction. That
Yeah,
it's
and the
not an
interior,
$80,000 entry level crossover.
yeah. And also the display, I mean, not, I know how you feel about, touchscreens taking over everything. It's a trapezoidal display.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Anyway,
don't think it's going to age well. I think it's
possibly.
going to look like a point of its time, whatever. And the
It's kind
screen
of how
is,
we look back at the 90s and it looks so kind of campy now.
yeah. And then it's got like another display beyond that, like over on the dash, kind of like Honda's did,
Yeah,
where they
like
have
an
a display and
eyebrow
a
kind
display.
of.
Yeah. I'd have to actually drive one. I don't know. The steering wheel looks neat. It looks like a robot's about to transform out of it. And
Yeah, well, what's interesting are the spokes are up and down,
hmm.
or north and south, which is unusual. And it has little pods attached to the wheel, but I guess those are fixed.
Hmm.
Anyway, so interesting stylistic choices. So another German premium automaker, Mercedes GLC EV. So you know how the EQS line were kind of the jelly bean shaped, and they had kind of this kind of rounded kind of
Handsomely
kind of
what did you just
handsome,
say?
inoffensively handsome
Yes.
kind of nose that weren't especially distinctive or bold. They just kind of jelly bean shape. So Mercedes said they're moving past that. They're like we're not doing that anymore. So this one, now I don't know if you'd still call this a grill because it looks like a solid LED panel, but it is definitely big and kind of in your face.
This
So
is the grill that they announced the other week, wasn't it?
I think
A
so.
couple weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, I kind of like it. And here I see it on a car, and I don't know if I do like it.
Oh,
I,
it's
I
it's
mean, sure,
definitely
why not?
it's definitely a statement. It's
Yeah.
you know uh yeah, I guess Mercedes buyers like big bold grills, so
It
or
seems too
something to this
narrow. It
effect.
almost is like they needed to make it wider on the car.
You
It
think
seems
so?
very tall, and I don't know. I need to see this one in person.
Yeah. So also pretty quick charging. We just discussed that with the BMW. They're claiming 10 to 80% charge in under 24 minutes. This
At
one peaks
330 kilowatts,
330, so a little below the BMW.
an actual number that people might be able to
Yeah.
hit.
So the interesting thing to me, because I cover this in my day job, is the interior display. It's 39 inches wide, but the interesting thing about it is, and I haven't gotten confirmation. A colleague of mine is actually on the floor in Munich, and so he might have a little deeper dive on this. It appears it's a continuous display. So Mercedes did this before with like the EQS. There have been other vehicles that had basically a full width dash display, but the thing is it was usually two or three displays with a common surface. So it wasn't truly a single display. And it appears this is a continuous, unbroken display. That's
I don't see where the break would be on this. On the others,
yeah,
it was like pretty obvious.
yeah.
There would
There's a
be
little
like a
black
little line,
line.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, even though when it was off, it looked like one display, but when it was on, you could see, what they were
yeah. There were
doing.
different, like they call them zones or whatever. This does have different zones, and it has like zonal lighting. So like I guess the dash zone, the infotainment zone, and the passenger zone. But it appears to be a continuous display. So that's I guess the kind of ooh ah thing about
Hmm.
this. Um, Performance specs somewhat similar. Now I guess this one they're already announcing the specs for the rear wheel drive. So that's going to be 369 horse, 371 pound feet. All wheel drive, 483 horse, 596 pound feet. Um,
Is this
yeah,
the same size as the iX3 that we just talked about?
I
Is
think
the
roughly.
GLC the
Yeah,
same
I
size?
think they're roughly the same size class.
Okay.
Um, so the other interesting thing, if we're talking about Mercedes styling trends, is I can't remember if it was the last episode or the one before that we discussed the AMG GTXX, the concept,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
record setter,
Yep.
and it had the kind of round tail lights, like, and this one does too. So I'm wondering if that's like Mercedes' new signature look.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I know I grew up kind of, I guess, during what would be considered the Bruno Sacco era of Mercedes styling. And all those cars had like the ribbed tail lights. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Yeah. So it was a very distinct kind of Mercedes signature look. They've since, I think they quit doing that. I want to say starting like mid 90s, they kind of moved away from that. But
No,
yeah,
the
so maybe
bold move on these
mhm,
taillights is the fact that there's a little circle,
mhm,
and then if you look in the circle,
three-pointed star.
they put the Mitsubishi symbol. So I don't really understand that, but
This I think it's supposed to be Mercedes, but
oh, is that what it is? Because it sure looks like Mitsubishi to me.
anyway. So cool on that. No prices on this. If I had to guess, maybe a little more than the BMW. But cool. Yeah. If you like electric crossovers, there you go.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna be the world, isn't it? The
Yeah.
Model Y has proven that that's the thing you need to chase right now.
Yeah. That's the moneymaker, I guess.
Yeah.
The next one is definitely not a crossover. But we've talked about this like when we were growing up. I think almost every teenage boy had a poster of the Countach on their wall,
Oh yeah.
probably.
Yep.
I
I
would
did.
say the second runner up would probably be the Ferrari Testarossa.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Um,
believe I had one. It was, in fact, I did. I had the Countach, the one that
mhm,
everybody had under the Golden Gate Bridge. I had that one.
mhm,
Then I had a Ferrari 308 poster.
mhm.
Then I had a Testarossa one, and then I had a Vector
Oh,
poster. Yeah.
there we go.
Uh-huh.
So this one, if you remember the Testarossa from the 80s, this looks absolutely nothing like it. Um, and when I first saw it, I was like, huh, okay. Um, I don't
Next.
know. Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of like a generic supercar. I mean, maybe I'm being too mean about it, but
I I don't know. So Lamborghini
mhm.
redid their whatever their most recent Lamborghini is into the Countach, and they did the Countach 50th anniversary
Oh,
version.
I think it was a variation of the Aventador, I think.
And that
Yeah.
I looked at and was like, wow, it looks like a little bit of a kit car there,
Hmm.
like a loose interpretation of a Countach,
Hmm.
but it's all right, you know.
Hmm.
And actually, the more you see them, the more you actually like this
Hmm.
reinvention of that body style as a Countach. Like I
Hmm.
think it really works well,
Hmm.
and it's got some of the classic cues
Yeah.
from that car. And like you said, with this Testarossa rebirth, which is why are we talking about it? Did we already say it? It's a hybrid.
Yeah.
This has zero to do with the Testarossa.
Yeah.
Why not throw some fins on the door? How hard is that?
I presumably because it probably would give it a worse coefficient of drag.
Don't call it the Testarossa. Call me crazy.
Well, I mean,
That's what made this car.
yeah, I mean, to me, the signature thing with the Testarossa was the side vents.
Yeah, the little grills on the side. Like it Testarossa has to have that.
Yeah.
And there was another one. I don't remember the name of the Ferrari, but there was another one that had like half size ones of those.
Hmm.
That was not a Testarossa. It was something else. I don't know. Somebody will
Yeah.
make a
Uh,
comment on YouTube and tell me how
yeah.
wrong I
So,
am, or
but
tell
I
me what
mean,
it was
from an
called.
objective standpoint, it's hard to argue with the specs. This has got nearly triple the power of the original. It's not a flat 12 anymore. Shocker, right? Um, so it's a twin turbo 4-liter V8 with three electric motors for boost. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 2.3 seconds, top speed 205. Um, I mean, cool. But, in the current age of EVs, I mean, this is how jaded I've gotten. I look at those specs, I'm like, oh, okay.
So that was going to be my
Whereas years
question to
ago, it
you.
was like, oh my, this is
Yeah.
insane.
Does it matter? We don't. Do we know the price tag of this? A lot.
Yes.
How
Well,
much is this?
500,000 euros, about 460 to 500. And their current exchange rates, about $586,000. So
Um.
a house in most of the country.
Yeah. Does it matter that a Tesla large sedan can out accelerate this thing? Does that matter? Because that
No,
doesn't matter to me.
so
I mean, it's still fast.
yeah,
2.3. That's fast.
I feel we could do a whole other episode on this about how, excuse me, how for better for worse EVs have kind of a democratized performance. Um,
Yeah, I know.
Basically, I mean, to your point, about 90 grand for a new one, Model S, that can basically match this
Yeah, in a
0 to
straight line.
60, quarter mile, all that. You can buy a used plaid for like 40. Um, you know, uh, So it's like, but I kind of think the buyers of these, and again, it's a small and I would argue probably shrinking market. It's more about the experience. So, you know, even Ferrari and Lamborghini do have to be somewhat compliant with emissions, CO2, so forth. But they, because they're lower volume, their overall contribution to, pollution, I guess, is relatively less. They can kind of push the envelope a little more. Um, but there's still kind of this visceral appeal for engine noise, exhaust notes, that whole thing. So I think for like the ultra performance, that still holds an appeal to some people beyond simply 0 to 60 quarter-mile times, top speeds, Nürburgring times.
There was a pushback when everything
Right.
was going EV, like these supercars. And there was a bit of a pushback. And then, like, some of the, I don't remember who it was, one of the supercar producers was saying that people, oh, I think it was Mate, wasn't it? Mate Remats, maybe, was
That's,
saying
yeah,
that,
the Bugatti. Yeah.
yeah, that clientele doesn't necessarily want an EV.
Hmm.
So here, this is a hybrid. It could go 16 miles apparently on electric power, which is fine. Gets you out of your driveway so you don't have to listen to the thing crank up and idle if you're taking off to go to a Cars and Coffee at 6 in the morning. So I guess that's good. When Jeeves warms it up for you, you can pull away from the house a little bit. But do you think so? If that's true, and people didn't, the buyers of these ultra exotics don't want electric,
Hmm.
or the majority of them don't. I'm sure some
Hmm.
people do.
Hmm.
Do you think they care that this is a hybrid? Or do they, as long as it makes a rumble, then they're cool with that, even if it's got three electric motors and a battery pack and can drive 16 miles? Like, that's cool, that's fine, whatever. But it's still gonna roar when you get on the gas.
I think they just kind of want that kind of vestigial kind of nod to internal combustion. I mean, I think going forward, regardless of vehicle class, they're going to pretty much everything's going to be electrified in one form or another going forward. I think I would say within a decade. So some of those will still have engines, some of them will be fully electric. But I think, like I said, in this class of vehicles, they just want something that goes vroom.
Should Ferrari be taking these vehicles, do plug-in versions, and have them go, I don't know, 50 miles on electric and be able to do, okay, it can do 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds with gas assist, or 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds electric only? Should they should they be doing that as warming up their audience for the idea of an all electric Ferrari or Lamborghini or Maserati?
I'm guessing they maybe looked at that, but the trade-off at this particular point in time, my guess would be weight. Is the reason this only has a 6.5 kilowatt hour battery pack as opposed to a 30, for instance, is they said, okay, that would add, let's say, another 300-400 pounds. So, yes, you could compensate that with more powerful electric motors, but maybe they tried that and, the handling and the balance suffered. And,
Batteries
there's
are
always that
heavy.
very kind of subjective, je ne sais quoi, like Porsche-ness or Ferrari-ness. And maybe they tested a prototype, bigger battery, more powerful electric motors, but they were just like, this, it doesn't feel the same. So maybe that's why they opted for a smaller pack, you know. Now
I
that's,
wonder if that's coming, where they'll
well,
have
they're a
something.
fully electric Ferrari. I know that is coming for sure. Based on what I've read and seen, it's probably going to be a crossover or an
Mhm.
SUV, kind of like the
Which makes
Purosangue.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
So I, my feeling about Ferrari specifically is I don't see them doing a fully electric sports car, and basically until they're forced to. Um, like let's say Germany, France, whoever says, hard stop, no more combustion vehicles, period. They have to be EV. They will probably make one for that market or globally. But until then, I think they'll probably still keep making combustion engines as long as they can.
I just think they need to, now is a prime opportunity to prime that pump and get,
So you think they should incrementally kind of
yeah.
do more and more electrification to the point where they kind of condition their audience to kind of warm them up to it, get them to like it, and they're
So
like,
you
oh, we
can,
kind of like electrics.
you can have like drag strip mode and you could have track mode. And drag strip
Mhm.
mode is like that, that one is all electric, 0 to 60 in 2 seconds or 1.8
Mhm.
or whatever
Mhm.
number they can do. And then track mode is got the gas engine.
Mhm.
And then it's like, oh, you want raw acceleration? It takes electric to get there. You want that. It takes it.
Mhm.
That's what's required. But
Mhm.
if you want to go and do lap after lap after lap, here you go. So maybe they don't need a 30 kilowatt battery, whatever. Maybe they don't need a 30 kilowatt hour battery.
Mhm.
Maybe they could get away with 15 to
Mhm.
do a couple acceleration runs from traffic light to traffic light. I don't know. It
Mhm.
just eventually we're going to go all electric.
Mhm.
That's coming.
Mhm.
Whether that's in the next 10 years or 30 years, I don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
But we're going there. So it's like, start getting there
Yeah.
and teach your audience that that power and performance potential is only there with electric.
Mhm. Yeah. Some people are already convinced. I mean, I am. I mean, I'm,
Hmm.
from an objective standpoint, but I think with the premium brands, it's more about experience and it's more about the subjective experience rather than objective numbers. Because, you've probably heard this, and I've said it before. Like, I've heard people say, "Would you microwave a steak?" You know, it's
You can
like,
microwave bacon.
it's like, so, anyway, I think we've beaten that horse half to
Now, if
death.
you want, there's not really a topic here, but if you if you want a little treasure or whatever that makes you smile, Happy Gilmore 2, there is an electric vehicle in there, and it is a high-end electric vehicle.
Oh, I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm putting a little bow on this, kind of countering the opener here. Little good news on Tesla,
Back to Tesla.
if they're so deserving,
Uh-huh.
whether they are or not. So, but I'd say kudos for them for this because I think ultimately this will be good for EVs in general. So they are now doing white label superchargers. So basically, Holiday Inn, 7-Eleven. I mean, Bob's Burgers. I mean, I don't know myself about that, but whoever, they can put their logo on superchargers and have them at their business. So,
And they could do presumably onesie twosie. Tesla is pretty famous for if they're doing a supercharger, it's you don't get one. You
no, in
get
fact, I
you get a
think, I
bunch.
don't know if I put this in the show notes here. I think there is a minimum purchase. I want to say 4.
Either way, like
Yeah.
I'm not vastly knowledgeable of the Tesla supercharger infrastructure and across
Hmm.
America,
Hmm.
but it seems like I rarely see four.
Hmm.
It's
So it's
like you'll
usually
see,
like a dozen
yeah,
or 2 dozen or
yeah,
40
they
or,
go
yeah.
in big. They go
Yeah.
big or they go home.
Yeah.
And this enables, even if you got to get four,
Hmm.
it,
Yeah.
it, it's a start, I guess, of getting chargers everywhere.
Yeah. So the way this works is, I guess the vendor who wants them, they pay for the installation and equipment, but Tesla provides hardware, software, and service support. So basically superchargers, but they don't say Tesla on them. So
Interesting.
cool.
I kind of am curious on this because I don't know much of the back deal that there was, but there's a racetrack
Hmm.
near me and they were expanding, building a new racetrack, and they contacted Tesla and they said, "Hey, Tesla, you want to put a supercharger on our property?"
Hmm.
And so there was went back and forth, and they gave them a spot of land in the facility. So there had to be a separate area that, even though it's in the paddock, that anybody driving by could go and access these things.
Hmm.
So there was
Hmm.
all these various requirements. But the track didn't have to pay for these. And
Hmm.
Tesla came in, they did the install, they did everything. I don't know exactly what the track was required to do for pulling electricity over there, but as far as I'm aware, Tesla takes care of that. So The track went to Tesla. Tesla went, yeah, you know what? You're right. There could be a spot right there. And the fact that we don't have to buy the land, great, we'll put in a supercharger. And that's what happened. I'm curious if they're changing their entire business model for things like that. Where now, if that racetrack went to Tesla now and said, hey, do you want to put superchargers in because we do track days and a lot of Teslas here, yada, yada. If Tesla would come back and say, we got a great deal on superchargers for you and it will have your branding on it. And then you've got to buy everything and then pay for a service plan. I wonder if they're changing, if they're flopping the way they do business.
I don't think this replaces their current. They're still massively building out Tesla branded superchargers everywhere. I think this is as far as I know, this is supplemental to that.
Yeah, but the way they've been doing it traditionally is like a big thing. Or you could go to them and you could say, as the racetrack did, I've got this plot of land and I will be more than happy to give you a spot on it. And Tesla agreed. Now I wonder if they won't agree, if they'll just say, no, we're already building this large thing over here and this large thing over here. If you want to have the smaller one, we agree there's a business case for it and we will help you with financing to,
So
to put this in.
one thing I don't know I didn't see it. Maybe if I dig a little deeper, is the revenue model on this. So maybe with the branded superchargers, the site owners get a bigger cut of that possibly. And maybe that's why, they've kind of flipped it. Whereas, before they just kind of came in for free. And I mean, I don't know, but more chargers, better chargers, more reliable chargers. I'm all for it. So
there's got to be a reason for Tesla to want to do this not out of the goodness of their heart. There's got to be financial reason for it. And it sure looks like it's...
I hate to be cynical about this, but I think, not to agree with you because I hate to do that, but, Elon's brand lately and kind of the negative brand that Tesla has in the eyes of some people, I think maybe some businesses would say, we would like to offer this as an amenity, but we don't want it branded Tesla.
Yikes. That had not occurred to me. That people have requested the Tesla branding to be stripped.
Well, that was maybe an obstacle for some businesses.
Yeah, no. So it's like, you can come in, but I don't want the Tesla name. I want the abilities, but I don't want Tesla written on it because I don't want to potentially bring vandals or whatever. Yeah, wow.
Huh. And, I think that's one of those things that nobody wants to say out loud, but it's kind of...
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, we know it's true because we see on Teslas all the time people that have I bought this before Elon went crazy. Elon went nuts. Yeah, like all of these things, like people are trying to separate themselves. And this is why you shouldn't have a politically active leader. This is why Ford and GM and them are playing both sides of the fence at all times.
So one more thing to wrap this up real quick. So this was in the Netherlands. So they have this thing called Multipass that they're rolling out in the Netherlands, so allowing you to use your Tesla key, which is basically your smartphone app, to I guess initiate and pay for charging at third-party chargers. So I'm trying to think of the big networks over there. I think Fastned. I know ChargePoint has a little bit of a presence in Europe, but there are other Ionas in the US. I'm trying to think of the Ionity is the other big one in Europe.
Yep.
So presumably you could go to an Ionity or a Fastned station, use your Tesla app, and then basically this is a step toward universal plug-in charge, which is kind of the promised land, and we're getting toward that. But I think this is a good interim step toward that. So,
you know what else this is?
The end of the episode?
No, yes. But I was going to go somewhere with this multipass first.
Yes.
Join me on this. Maybe I'm too much of a nerd. What was it? Ludacris was Ludacris before Plaid?
The musician or the car?
No, the car mode. Ludacris mode. And then
Plaid,
and then Plaid, both Spaceballs references.
Yes.
Then they come out with the row. I'm sure I'm missing some. This just I saw this. I didn't know anything about it. This is what's popped into my head. This is the journey. Welcome to a journey into my brain. So Tesla goes and they, Spaceballs. All right. Then we're going to come up with a robot. What do we call the robot? Optimus, because we all watch Transformers. Optimus Prime. Great. All right.
Not for that
Got
Decepticon or
then now Tesla launches Multipass.
uh-huh.
It's a Fifth Element reference. It's straight from the Fifth Element.
Oh, I missed that.
So, did they have no original ideas for marketing? Does Tesla just rip off other
I
things?
guess until
Like,
they get cease and desist letters from the studios. or
it's
something.
blowing my mind that they have this marketing team and all they have to do is watch movies from the 80s and 90s and your TV shows and you're good to go. This is incredible to me.
Totally missed that.
I want to be on their team because there you just pick up like
They're
there'll
like,
be Ninja Turtles
"Genius,
references.
Yeah, let's
next.
go with that.
Like this is what's her name for the Fifth Element? Mila Jovovich, was that her name? That she would always say multipass. Like that was her thing. Like, all right, I'm just saying Tesla marketing, show up. At least show up and put in a day's work before you rip
Something
off
original.
the movies and TVs. I like all the references, but at some point you've got to actually go in and do an honest day's work. Not just steal somebody else's creativity.
Anyway,
Now we'll end the episode.
but I think it's fitting we're ending this on the topic of charging because we have something coming up.
Oh, we
might be
do.
interested in.
We do,
Yeah.
hopefully. Hopefully.
Anyway, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And so if that happens, then we'll be back next week. And if that doesn't happen, we'll probably be back next week anyway. Because you can't get rid of us for 2 weeks and our multipass. Subscribe to us, youtube.com/@thewalkcar. We're on all of the podcast players. We're on many of the social medias. You can guess which main social media we are not on because I'm the one who controls that. Tesla, you'd love to advertise with us. Come on, thewalkcar.com/advertise.
We could do the Watt car superchargers. How about that?
Yeah, we could install them in front of our podcast.
There you go.
I don't know. There's other things. You go to thewalker.com/nothing and you'll find content that's there and other things that we have on our website. I don't know. I'm out of stuff to say.
Until next week.
Yeah, multipass.
Multipass.